I never imagined my life would shatter in an instant. One night, I discovered my wife, Traci, passionately kissing another man. She lied, claiming it was just a moment of weakness. But when I showed her the photos of her affair, her deceit was undeniable. With rage and betrayal fueling me, I planned my revenge. In front of our friends, I exposed her infidelity, revealing every sordid detail. The shock on their faces mirrored my own. Our marriage was destroyed and her lies unraveled. This is the story of how I took back control and made her pay.
"Where did you get that?" she asked, shocked. "Really? I show you a clear picture of you kissing another man on the dance floor with his hand on you and yours on him, and the first thing you ask is where I got it? Does it matter where I found it? Would knowing that change the fact that you are cheating on me?" I said to my wife of 7 years. "Honey, I see that it looks bad, and I admit we kissed, but it's not cheating. Look at the picture. We were in public with many people around. We weren't having sex, obviously," she replied. "So that's your only defense? No explanation about who you kissed so deeply or why? You think that just because you weren't having sex in this picture, everything is fine? I need to know, Traci. Is this how you define keeping your wedding vows?" "Brian, I can tell you're very upset. You don't need to worry, I promise. It was just a moment. You are making a big deal out of something that was innocent," she said with feeling. "Innocent? You're making a big deal out of this? You still haven't even told me his name. Why should I not be upset about someone I don't even know?" I said sarcastically. "Does his name matter? If I told you, you might go and start a fight and he'd win easily. I won't let that happen," she argued. "I see. Thank you for being honest." "You've made your choice, so I'll make mine," I replied, feeling angry. I turned around, went upstairs, and started to pack a bag for a week. She hurried after me. "What are you doing?" "It looks like I'm packing a bag. Why do you ask?" "Packing a bag, but why?" "Because I can't stand another minute of your lies. I need space to think before I say or do something I might regret," I said, frustrated. "Don't be silly, Brian. I know you'd never hit me." "Well, until today, I thought you'd never cheat on me either, so I guess we don't know each other as well as we thought." "Cheat? Who said I cheated on you?" Traci shouted. "Kissing him wasn't cheating, and you know it. I never cheated on you." "And there it is," I said sarcastically. "What do you mean?" "The obvious lie." "But I never lied to you, Brian. I did not cheat with him or anyone else," she yelled. "Oh? Then what do you call this?" I handed her another picture from that night. "This is a nice shot of you with him, isn't it? And in case you try to say that isn't cheating, how about this one? It looks like he's really close to you, doesn't it?" "But where? How?" "There you go again. Does it matter where I got this picture? Would that change the fact that you cheated on me and just now lied about it?" She dropped the pictures on the floor and started to cry, trying to hug me. "Stay away from me, Traci. Talking goes both ways. I've tried to give you a chance to be honest, but you don't seem to value that. I might have stayed to talk this through for our son if you'd just been honest, but it seems that's too much to ask. I'm taking my phone. If you call me for anything other than an emergency with little Bobby, I will block your number. Is that clear?" She nodded, and I walked out, feeling angry, upset, and hurt. This was Friday night when I checked into a motel. I thought I would spend the weekend thinking about what to do next. If I divorced her, Bobby would grow up in a broken home and I would have to pay her support. Basically, I'd be paying her while she was with other men. I wish she had at least given me an explanation or an apology. Maybe she hadn't thought it all through. That's why I thought it was best for us to be apart and think about where our lives go from here. Not having my wife and son with me hurt a lot, and the loneliness was hard to bear. I cried myself to sleep. The next day, just before noon, my phone started to buzz with messages. After I got my degree in engineering, I worked at a local chemical lab for a big chemical company. After 5 years of hard work, I was offered a job as facility manager for their main research center far away. With more responsibilities came a big pay raise, so we jumped at the opportunity and moved, leaving friends and family behind. Traci started working at a call center for a large credit card company. There were over 1,200 workers, mostly women around her age. A year after we moved, little Bobby was born. I encouraged her to stay home with him since I made good money, but she enjoyed being with her co-workers. Her friends began to be our friends. We were part of a loose group of 6 to 12 couples who would get together every couple of months, sometimes at someone's house or a restaurant. The girls were her work friends, and the guys, like me, were their husbands. That doesn't mean I had no friends at my job, but Traci worked hard to make sure our social life was mostly with her group. I didn't mind, as they were all nice. The women were all beautiful, and so were the husbands. I felt a bit out of place with the stylish and charming guys in the group, but they treated me like everyone else. Most of my recent messages were from them. It was clear that Traci had not just told them we were having issues, but had shared details. They were all eagerly asking me to meet with them to help fix things quickly. I was amazed that she had kept her secret from me but shared with our friends. Now I wondered what kind of friends they were. I really don't like others knowing my personal life, especially when it comes to my marriage. This situation made me uncomfortable. The only person who hadn't reached out was Traci. She knew I would block her if she tried. Cassidy seemed to be leading the group. She was Traci's best friend, and they were very close. She wanted me to come over to her house on Sunday evening at 6 o'clock. I thought it might be a trap. My car could get blocked in, or the guys might not let me leave if I wanted to. So I texted them that I would meet at Angus Steakhouse instead, because I could park without worrying and leave whenever I wanted. After some hesitation, they agreed. I decided to meet for a couple of reasons. First, I wanted to understand why Traci had acted the way she did. Second, I was curious what our friends really thought about cheating. Whose side would they choose? And third, I wondered if any of them were involved in her secret. Did they know? Did they help her? If they knew about her actions, none of them had said anything to me. I was not afraid of confrontation. As a facility manager, I solve many problems and can handle tough situations. I wanted to learn more to make a good decision and stand my ground. I parked my car at a nearby store and walked to the restaurant. I noticed the group had come early to plan for our talk. This made me chuckle. There was only one spot at the table next to Traci. She stood up to greet me, but I stopped her. I'd rather sit at the far end of the table, if that's okay. If not, I can sit at another table, I said. Before Traci could respond, Cassidy jumped in. That's fine, Brian. Jared, can you let Brian have your seat? Please, Brian, sit down. You're our guest tonight, and your meal is paid for. Let's all order now. We were in a private section of the restaurant. They must have reserved it to avoid being disturbed. Everyone quickly placed their orders. But before anyone could take charge of the conversation, I needed to get an answer first. I handed out copies of a photo showing Traci kissing another man on the dance floor, one to my left and one to my right. I started, "You all seem eager to help Traci and me fix our problems. I was shocked that she shared our personal issues before we talked about it. This shows how much she disrespects me and our marriage." Cassidy opened her mouth to talk, but I cut her off. "Before we discuss anything, I want an answer right now. Look closely at this picture. Traci is kissing another man. She won't tell me who he is. I know at least one of you must know who he is. You say you want to help us? The best help would be to tell me the truth. If you can't do that, we have nothing more to talk about." The table was silent. Even Cassidy didn't say anything. Not one of them claimed they didn't know who he was or told me his name. I had my answer. "Thanks for your time. I hope someone is hungry because I just lost mine. It looks like no one here really wants to help fix our relationship. Excuse me?" I stood up and walked away. Traci called after me, begging me to come back, but no one else said anything. It was clear that our friends were actually her friends. Traci, Cassidy, and the others were shocked. They thought they would talk reasonably, but I had turned the whole meeting upside down. They would need serious planning to reach me, and they were not ready for that. I hadn't mentioned it during dinner, but I had already checked out of the motel. I swung by a fast food place to grab a meal. When I got home, I spoke with the babysitter Traci had arranged for the night, paid her, and thanked her. Then, I ate quickly and moved my clothes to the spare bedroom. I had already gone to a hardware store over the weekend to get new lock sets for the doors. I put locks on the spare bedroom and hall bathroom doors. I kept the keys for myself. I didn't do this to avoid arguments with Traci. I just didn't want her trying to get too close to me when I was in the shower or asleep at night. After I got everything set up, I played happily with my 3-year-old son, who brought me so much joy. Then, I gave him a bath and put him to bed. Traci must have known I was home because my car was parked in the garage when she came back at 10:15 p.m. She seemed like she had just been talking a lot about something. Or maybe she was with someone else again. I honestly didn't know which one it was, and that bothered me. She rushed upstairs, excited to see me, and found me in Bobby's room. I was sitting in a chair, watching my son sleep, with tears falling down my face. I shushed her and waved for her to stay back so I wouldn't wake him. After I quietly closed the door, she tried to hug me, but I pulled away. She didn't give up, though. She smiled widely and said, "I'm so glad you're home. Let me make you something to eat. We have a lot to talk about." "I've already eaten, but thank you. Where have you been? Were you with someone else?" I asked pointedly. "No, I just left the steakhouse. They can confirm that. I've been trying to gather my thoughts so we can fix things." "I have a lot to tell you," she replied. "I'll talk about anything after you tell me the name of the person you've been seeing. If you can't do that, then we have nothing to discuss." I can't. I just can't," she said sadly. "I wish you cared about our marriage half as much as you care about him. I'm going to stay in the spare bedroom for now. Please keep your distance. Who knows what kind of health problems you might have now? I will not let your actions keep me from being with my son. He needs me just as much as he needs you. If you're ready to talk, the first thing you need to say is his name. If you're willing to protect him over our marriage, that's your choice. But I don't want to hear another word from you until you're ready to give me that name." She walked away, crying. A week passed where Traci and I took care of Bobby together, but we didn't speak to each other. Finally, one evening after work, I was surprised when I got home. Everything looked normal at first, but they must have planned something. As I walked into the kitchen to see what was for dinner, a group of Traci's friends came in from different rooms and surrounded me. They looked excited, but also a bit nervous. The first thing I asked was, "Where's Bobby?" I didn't want to talk about adult matters while my son was around. "I took him to the babysitter's house earlier. She's ready for him to stay the night," Traci explained. "Oh, okay," I replied, surprised. I hadn't known about this plan. "But I didn't see your cars parked outside." "We wanted to surprise you, so we parked a block away and walked here. We were worried you might drive off if you saw all our cars," Cassidy said. "Well, you certainly caught me off guard. What's going on? Is there something I don't know?" I asked. "Yes, there is," Traci started. "Can we go to the living room to talk? I'm ready to answer your questions now." "Sure, but I need to use the bathroom first. I'll be right there. You all can go ahead." I went to the bathroom, did my business, and washed my hands. I decided to record the conversation on my cell phone just in case something important happened. I slipped it into my pocket and then joined everyone in the living room. I was surprised to see two new faces there, people I didn't see in the kitchen. One was the man Traci had been with, sitting beside a woman younger than him. Traci started, "Brian, these are the only people you haven't met yet. This is Elliot Franklin and his wife Gail. They're part of our friend group, but you've never met them before. I know this might shock you, but we thought it best for you to hear his name since you were so set on knowing it. If you feel angry, the guys here have agreed to step in to keep everyone safe." "So now you finally give me a name," I said sarcastically. "It's a bit late to worry about me being hurt, isn't it? You never cared about how I felt, did you? You just wanted to protect him. Don't worry, I won't touch him. I don't want to catch any problems he might have passed to Traci." Everyone groaned in frustration. Cassidy spoke up. "Brian, we understand you're upset, but let's try to keep this calm and respectful. You wanted the name, and now you have it. We thought you might want to speak with him, which we've arranged." "Elliot does not need me to speak for him. He can talk for himself just fine. Our job tonight is just to introduce each other." After he introduced himself, Elliot stood up and offered his hand. "I'm sorry we've had a rough start. I hope by the end of our time together we can be friendly, or at least polite. I promise to treat you with respect, and I hope you will do the same for me, Brian. Is it okay if I call you Brian?" he asked, holding out his hand to me. I did not reach out to shake his hand and kept my hands by my side. "Since it's our first meeting, Mr. Franklin, I prefer you call me Mr. Wilson. I cannot imagine us being friends, so I think it's better to stay formal. You just said you would treat me with respect after already being quite rude, and I'm not going to just forget that and act nice back." "That's fair, Mr. Wilson. I was only talking about our conversation right now, not what happened before. If you allow me, I want to talk about what happened between me and Traci, your wife." "Do not say her name around me or call her my wife. This title might not last long, and I find it unpleasant. I'm thinking about getting a divorce, which I'm sure you already know. So how should I refer to her, Mr. Wilson? You can call her the woman I married, and I'll accept that for now. All right, Mr. Wilson, I want to speak about what happened between the woman you married and me. I hope I can explain things in a way you might understand better. I'm listening, Mr. Franklin. Please go ahead, I said. Elliot took a deep breath and started to explain. Look around this room, Mr. Wilson. What do you see? You see a room full of very attractive people, including the woman you married and yourself. Do you think that's just by chance? Isn't it odd that your close friends are all more attractive than average people? We all came together because we have similar interests. As friendships grew, so did our feelings for each other. Everyone here is in a happy and serious relationship. That is our main goal. Once we feel safe in our own relationships, we believe nothing can come between us. And we all believe the same about you and the woman you married. I looked around and noticed that the women were dressed nicely, not too revealing, but in a way that showed off their best features. They all smiled at me as if trying to catch my attention. Elliot continued. Take my wife Gail, for example. She is beautiful to me, just like every woman in this room, and we plan to stay together for life. No man here, including you, could ever take her away from me. Knowing this allows me to share her with others for both our benefits. In return, she is comfortable sharing me with these other lovely women. We learn and grow from these experiences, which is much better than sticking to an old idea of love that doesn't help people connect as much as trust, understanding, and sharing do. That may be nice for you and your wife, Mr. Franklin, along with the others in this room, but it doesn't apply to me and the woman I married. Excuse me, Mr. Wilson, but didn't you just say that your relationship has less trust and understanding than every other couple here? Can't you see how much both of you could grow by being open to this idea? He spread his arms wide to include everyone in the room. If what you say is true, Mr. Franklin, then you just called every woman here, including the woman I married, disrespectful names. I'm shocked that you have such a hold over her. I can't believe you would insert yourself into a married couple's life like this. I see how you are thinking, Mr. Wilson, but this isn't one-sided. You are also welcome to join in the views we all share here. You could be with any woman in this room if you wanted to. When you and the woman you married joined our group, it was clear that you would be asked to join us in all ways. Because of her connection with her co-workers, she had many conversations about this and was worried about how you would react. It was not until after many talks that she agreed to try it just once to see if it could help your relationship. She was nervous at first, but then felt that these experiences could improve things. If you hadn't reacted so strongly that night, she had planned to talk with you about the possible benefits. Mr. Wilson, I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. I'm sorry, but I can't fulfill that request. I chose to keep my cool. I walked upstairs one last time, making sure they heard me before they saw me. When I arrived, I found a man with a smug look on his face as he pushed himself deeper into Gail's mouth. She seemed to be enjoying it a lot. As I entered the room, the man made loud noises, letting everyone know he was excited. It seemed unlikely that Gail would even taste what he was doing at that point. Impressive, I said with a smile. You two seem to know each other really well. Of course we should, the man said with a grin. We've been married for a long time. Oh? How long is that? I asked, pretending to be curious. 12 years next month, he answered proudly. I noted that down silently, thinking it was just another piece of information I could use later. Congratulations. You obviously care for Gail a lot more than any other woman, I added to poke at him. Absolutely, he said, nodding. No other woman out there compares. Gail is my everything. I can't picture life without her, just like I hope you can't picture life without your spouse. He smiled at Traci, who was grinning back, thinking they had successfully swayed my opinion. I really liked what I saw downstairs. 3 women caught my eye. Choosing one will be hard, I said, hinting at my interest. Why pick just one? If you join us, I can arrange for you to have all 3 at once, the man said smoothly. 3 beautiful women at the same time? I've always thought about being with 2 women, but 3 is something I never considered. You really know how to convince a guy, I replied. I hope those girls will do more than just talk you into it soon, he added with a smirk. Everyone down there is getting dressed now. Why don't you and Traci join us when you're ready? I said, holding out my hand as a friendly gesture. I promised myself I would wash it later. Touching Traci felt unpleasant. 10 minutes later, we all met up again. Everyone was dressed, though not as nicely as before. Traci and I stood in front of the group, who looked pleased with themselves and my more agreeable attitude. "Well, Mr. Wilson, or can I call you Brian now?" the man asked. "Brian is fine," I agreed, wanting to gain their trust. "Thank you, Brian. Do you see our group differently now? Will you and Traci join us for this new experience? You won't regret it. Your marriage will only grow stronger," he assured me. "Would you be ready to enjoy a night with 3 of these lovely ladies, or do you prefer to set it up for another time?" "As much as I'd love to, I need some time to think about what I've learned tonight. Traci and I need to talk privately before making any decisions. Is that okay?" I said. The man's smile faded a little. He clearly wasn't expecting this delay. He wanted my answer now, but that wasn't happening. "Of course," he said, forcing a polite tone. "Take all the time you need." Then he nodded to his friends. Suddenly, 3 strong men grabbed me and held me still. I realized they didn't mean harm. It was just surprising. Traci then came forward, took my cell phone from my pocket, and began deleting videos. "Please understand, Brian, we want to trust you, but until you are fully one of us, we must protect ourselves. It was clear you recorded tonight's events, and we can't take that risk," she explained. Traci then nodded at the man. He asked her, "It's gone now? All of it?" Traci nodded and said, "Yes. There are no recordings." Then she put my phone back into my pocket. It was clear she was already part of their group, willing to go against my wishes. I felt defeated just as he wanted. "Now, Brian, don't look so down. I want to think you recorded to help choose who to be with first when you join us. But please know we can't take that chance. There's too much at risk. I'm sure you saw enough tonight to help you decide. Each girl here can leave a lasting impression if given a chance. Please let us know what you decide soon," he said. He patted me on the back as the group quietly left the house. Some of the women flirted as they left, making phone gestures with their hands and silently saying, "Call me." Once the last person was gone, I grabbed my keys and headed to the garage. "Where are you going?" Traci asked, looking confused. "I'm going to pick up Bobby, if that's okay," I replied firmly. I was hoping we could reconnect tonight. Watching them earlier really turned me on, and I could see you were excited too. Why not do something to help us both out before we get him? He's expecting to stay the night, so we don't need to rush," she suggested, twirling her hair and looking at me in a tempting way. "I miss my son. Clearly, you do not." "I'll be back soon," I said to her. She put her hands on her hips, clearly annoyed, but I just walked out the door. I drove to the Angus Steakhouse. I was very hungry because I hadn't eaten dinner yet, and I was thinking about what I ordered but didn't get the last time. They had great food, and I took my time enjoying the tender beef while I thought about the events of the evening. I hoped things would turn out the way I wanted. Only time would tell. Mrs. Stevenson thanked me a lot for the extra tip I gave her on top of her regular pay. I might need her help soon, so I wanted to be on her good side, aside from Traci. Bobby was happy to see me. I kept him laughing all the way home. I gave him a bath, fed him, and then put him to bed for the night. Traci told me she was making a light meal for us since we hadn't eaten. I told her I had already eaten, and that she should just take care of herself and not worry about me. She seemed upset by my words and stayed away from me, wanting to keep things calm for Bobby since we needed to talk. Since it was Monday night and we both worked tomorrow, I got ready for bed. She wanted to talk. "What's going on, Brian? You seemed so interested in Elliot's idea about our group, and then you dropped me like nothing," she asked. "I'm glad you asked. Let me answer you with some questions. Maybe your answers will help you understand," I said. "Go ahead," she replied. "Before they left, 3 men grabbed me in my own home, and you didn't say anything against it, right?" "It wasn't like that," she argued. "Was it not? Did 3 men grab me and hold me in my own home? Yes or no, Traci? Did that happen?" "Yes, but—" Before she could continue, I cut her off. "Yes, they did. And did you say a word against it to anyone else who saw it happen? Yes or no, Traci? Just answer yes or no." "No," she said quietly. "Finally, we are getting somewhere. Now pay careful attention to this next question. Did I ask you to take my phone and delete anything from it? Did I?" "Yes or no, Traci? Come on. Be honest." "No," she replied softly. Okay, please listen closely because this is a long question. You admit you didn't say anything when I was held in my own home. You also admit that you took my phone and deleted things from it without my permission. Is that true? Yes or no? Yes. Good. Now, since I was right there when it happened, and I didn't hear anyone tell you to delete anything from my phone, then you must have talked to someone about this when I wasn't there and you agreed to do it without me knowing. Is that correct? Traci looked at the floor. Yes, that's right. I didn't think of it that way. It feels like a betrayal. It is a betrayal, Traci. Now let's go back to your questions. Why did I drop you? Your own answers show the truth of why I feel this way. You showed tonight that you are on their side, not mine. If you have no problem with it, I'm going to bed alone tonight. I don't want to be around someone who betrays me. Traci started crying as I left her in the hallway, locking my door behind me. Around 4 a.m., I heard her trying the doorknob. A few turns were enough to stop her. On Tuesday morning, I spoke to the vice president at work. Dan, can you recommend a good divorce lawyer? One who fights just as hard for husbands as for wives? Please tell me you're not asking for yourself, Brian, Dan said, sounding worried. Yes, it's for me. I thought you would know someone, I replied with a chuckle. I'm friends with Ted Russ. He handles our legal issues. I'll call him and get back to you. Thanks, Dan, and no need to say more, Brian. This stays between us. I respect your privacy. That's good to hear. Thanks, Dan. I called the office of B. Thorenson, as Ted recommended, and made an appointment for that afternoon. To my surprise, B was B, short for Beatrice. She told me that most of her cases were women, but when she took a case, she fought hard for her client. It didn't take long to convince her that I was the one hurt in the situation, and she was eager to help me. She did let me know that I would have to pay child support until Bobby turned 18. Also, college costs often come into play. I assured her I had no problem providing for my son. I just wanted 50-50th shared custody, either every other week or every other month. She couldn't promise anything, but she said she would fight hard to get me what I needed. About the alimony, she said I would likely have to pay for 3 to 5 years, depending on which judge we got. Because our incomes were so different, usually in this state, a person pays 1 year of alimony for every 2 years of marriage up to 20 years. After that, it's capped at 10 years. I didn't like the idea of paying her, especially knowing she might be with that group of people who seemed so sleazy. Traci and I had planned to grow our family. We had rented our house for the last 4 years and were looking at house plans and lots to build our dream home. I had many sketches of features I wanted in our special place. Now, those dreams felt worthless. At least we didn't have to sell or fight over a house. Bobby was too young to care about where he lived, so if Traci kept renting the house, I wouldn't mind. But I knew I'd never sleep in that master bedroom again. It felt wrong to think about the time she spent with him there before I found out she had cheated. B told me that in our state, it usually took about 8 months to get a divorce if both sides agreed. If not, it could take a year. I hoped to be one of the lucky ones who got it done in 8 months. I didn't want to be connected to someone who had hurt me any more than I had to. She also said that claiming infidelity wouldn't help financially, but it might matter if we ended up arguing about custody. She said she could have the papers ready by Thursday afternoon. I wanted Traci to be served at work on Friday at 10 a.m. when her friends and co-workers could see it happen. Once we talked about the divorce details and her fee, I asked her about where I could live until it was all over. "What questions do you have, Brian?" she asked. "My main worry is about seeing my son. 8 months to a year can feel like a long time for us both. I don't want to be away from him more than I have to. Would it be wrong for me to stay in the same house with her to spend more time with him?" "While it's not common, it can be done," she replied. "How's that?" I wondered. "First, when she gets the divorce papers on Friday, she's going to be very upset. If you're nearby, she might really lash out at you. Are you ready for that?" "I can handle it. After she gets served, I'll think of us as legally separated and treat her like she's treating me now." That brings me to my next point, Brian. She might not want the divorce. Often women who cheat want to keep both partners. She might try to stop the divorce. But this is a legal matter. She can't just ignore the law just because she feels that way. "You're right, but she can make things difficult," B said. "How?" I asked. "If you two have any sort of intimate relations before the divorce is final, the timeline resets. You'd have to wait another 8 months," she explained. The state would see it as you wanting to stay together. I wouldn't let that happen, but I can see Traci trying to tempt me. I am strong, B. I won't give in, I told her firmly. You don't have to. If she claims you two had sex, it would reset the clock unless you can prove otherwise. And that's hard to do, she added. A judge might not believe you if you're living under the same roof. I replied, if she makes that claim, does she have to give details like time and place? I mean, not personal details, but dates I can argue against. Yes, she has to, but remember, it would be your word against hers, and judges often believe the more emotional story, she said. I'll handle that. Thank you, B. You've been very helpful. Then I talked to her about another legal issue I needed to work on right after the divorce. Traci usually gets home a little before I do, so I found her cooking dinner in the kitchen. Normally I'd join her, but this time I went straight upstairs for a shower. I now used the hall bathroom to keep my distance. It was time to practice living different lives under the same roof. When I finished my shower and came out dressed, she was waiting for me in the hallway. Dinner will be ready soon. Bobby's already in his high chair. You smell nice and fresh, she said with a smile. I'll be right down, thank you, I replied, ignoring her comment and unlocking my spare bedroom door. The air was tense, but she didn't say anything upset. While we were eating, she started, I want to explain what happened with the cell phone last night. Go ahead, I replied calmly. When you were downstairs looking for partners and the three of us were alone upstairs, Elliot told me he knew you were filming what was happening. He thought it was unfair to let everyone take that risk. After you showed me pictures of me and him together, he was really worried. He felt the right thing to do was to stop the risk. It was clear from how you were moving that you were aiming the camera. He thought we couldn't leave until that risk was taken care of. Since we weren't sure if you had a password on your phone, they were ready to take it with them and clean it later. Elliot said I could stop that if I deleted the recordings in front of you. I see. But why on earth would they think you would do that to your husband? Because I told them I would, Brian. I don't get it. Get what? Didn't you promise to be loyal to me when we got married? There was a long silence after I spoke. I was glad for it. I don't want you to think I'm on their side. It's not like that. It's not? What if the roles were switched? What if those three men had come into our home? Would you have just stood by and watched? What other choice would I have had, Brian? They could have easily overpowered you. That might be true. But knowing that wouldn't stop me. I'd fight for you. We used to be a team. Last night you were acting as one of them, not as my wife. I'm sorry you don't see it my way. I explained about the cell phone. I have nothing else to say. Is that all? I joked. About that, yes. How did you get those pictures, Brian? I want to know. I'm sure you do, but what if one of your friends was not as loyal as you thought? What if one of your coworkers told me and brought those pictures to my office? How would you feel? Who? Tell me, which one, male or female? She asked quickly. I can't say, Traci. Why not? I promised, I said with a grin. She realized she wasn't getting anywhere with her questions and decided to try a different topic. Did you enjoy watching what happened last night? Wasn't it exciting? I'm not into that. I just saw people acting wildly. My body may have responded physically, but I felt nothing inside. Exactly, Brian. It's not meant to be emotional for them. All the love is for their partners. What you saw was just sex, nothing more. And since it's among people we know, it's safe and clean. We could share in that. We've been invited to join them. It's a great chance, don't you see? We can get closer and learn to please each other in new ways. It will improve our marriage. How's that working out so far? Our marriage feels very fragile. I feel closer to you already, I added sarcastically. Don't say that. You haven't even tried it yet. You don't know what it's like. Go ahead, you can try one of the girls or even three if you want. I won't mind. I can even watch if you want. Traci, is our sex life so dull that you think we need others to be okay as a couple? I didn't say that. It's not that we wouldn't survive without it. But shouldn't we want more than just to survive? When chances come, shouldn't we take them to improve what we have? What's the harm in that? The harm is breaking the trust we once had. That's what you've already done. Instead of making our marriage better, it's tearing it apart. Maybe no one else you know cares about being faithful, but I do. Clearly, your friends don't value it. They showed that last night. I can't trust you anymore, Traci. After seeing those pictures of you and that guy, I can't help but wonder who else you might be with. If this is so important to you, why didn't you talk to me about it first before being with another man? Because I knew you would react this way. I thought if I joined in and saw the benefits first, I could share those with you later. Then you might see the value and agree. So, basically, you and that guy think you have all the answers and think I need to be slowly taught the truth? How arrogant of you to assume you know more than I do. I had no idea how lucky I was. I said this with a hint of sarcasm, and she caught on quickly. Unfazed, she responded, "Why don't you let me share what I've learned? I picked up some things from my time with Elliot, and I watched Gail with him last night like you asked. The whole point is to make our love life better, not worse. Let me show you what I can do. I promise you won't regret it," she said excitedly. "Every time I look at you, I think of you with him. That doesn't make me want to kiss you right now. If you spread your legs for me, I'd just see him there too. You're making me feel like I'm sharing you with someone else. It feels like I'm left with a woman who has been with other men." "You think you own me? You don't, Brian. You never have, and you never will," she replied strongly. "You're right. I never claimed to own you. I thought you were mine because you said you gave yourself to me. Now it feels like you've given that away to someone else. You've broken something in me, Traci, and I'm not sure it will ever be fixed." She started crying again. After that, she didn't reach out to me until Friday. I spent all my time with Bobby. I even changed his dirty diaper without asking her for help. We made it a little game to see who could give him a bath. Bobby loved the attention, and I was happy about that too. For several days, I looked into the names, Elliot and Gail Franklin. I wanted to find out who they were. I didn't find much. I found one Elliot Franklin in public records. He was a homeless man who had been arrested for asking for money downtown. He didn't match the man who had been with Traci. I would keep trying to find out more about them. I decided to have Traci served with divorce papers at 10 a.m. on Friday because I was going to a meeting for facility managers. We meet every few months for a couple of hours, usually with lunch provided. Many contractors come to talk about their services for different facilities. That way, if Traci called while I was busy, my secretary would tell her I was in a meeting, and I would keep my phone on silent. I wasn't avoiding Traci completely. I just thought she needed some time to process everything before we talked. When I got back to the office, I called her back from the many messages she had left me. I could tell she was trying to walk away from others as she spoke. "It's about time. Seriously? You had me served in front of my friends? Do you know how embarrassing that was? Are you really going to divorce me over this? I told you it was nothing, Brian. Why can't you see that? Why haven't you answered your phone? Why won't you talk to me about this? My secretary should have told you I was in a meeting. I just got back and called you. I have a job to do, and it keeps going even if you want to talk. When have I refused to talk to you? You're the one avoiding me for 2 days. I'm talking to you now, right? But can we continue this conversation later after work? We can talk about anything then." She started crying on the phone. "I don't want a divorce," she said. "Please, Brian, don't divorce me. We'll talk tonight, all right, Traci?" "Okay," she said, sniffling. "I love you. Tonight, then. Goodbye, Traci." I only had one more brief meeting left that day about a lab that was having problems. I called our contractor to fix it. Being around good people makes work easier. I finished an hour early because Fridays are usually less busy. Most people don't want to deal with problems at the end of the week, but I knew I had to face this one. Realizing she might not be in the mood to cook, I picked up Chick-fil-A for dinner and texted her about it. She came home soon after I arrived. I got his diaper bag and brought Bobby in from her car. She rushed over to hug me while I held our son, knowing I wouldn't push her away and upset Bobby. I put him in his high chair and helped feed him. Toddlers can be messy eaters. He enjoyed tossing his food around, so not much ended up on his tray. She thanked me for the food. We both chatted and played with Bobby, even though some tears fell from her eyes. I spent most of the evening close to him until it was time for bed. He was my main focus, my reason for getting through the tough times. I knew the serious talk was coming and tried to prepare myself as best as I could. She was looking over the divorce papers when I walked into the living room. She took a deep breath to steady herself before she spoke. "I'm sorry, Brian. Is that what you wanted to hear?" "Honestly, it's the first real apology I've heard since all of this started. But what exactly are you sorry for, Traci?" "I'm sorry you had to see those pictures and find out like that. I can't imagine how upsetting that must have been for you. I see. I'm sorry I found out, but I see you're not really sorry for what you did. Got it. Don't say it like that. Elliot thinks that once you see the good in our arrangement, you'll accept it. He believes you'd enjoy the chance to be with other women, just like I could be with other men. Of course, he would say that. You and Elliot both made the mistake of not talking to me first about cheating. It's sad that you trust him more than you trust me. Elliot doesn't know me or our marriage well at all. He might be good at many things, but he doesn't understand me, just like you clearly don't. Look, I realize now that I messed this up. You're right. I should have talked to you first before getting into this without telling you. After seeing your reaction the other night, Elliot said that if I had come to you sooner, things would have gone better. He still believes you will come around, but now I'm not so sure. Can we please stop this silly divorce and try to get back on the right path? Back on the right path? Traci, that train has gone off the tracks and caused a lot of damage. You can't put it back on the tracks. You blew it all up when you let that guy be with you and then betrayed me again. Just sign the papers and let us both start to pick up the pieces of our lives and go our separate ways. I know you, Brian. You don't want Bobby to grow up in a home with parents living in different houses. If I remarried, you wouldn't want him to call another man dad. No dad wants that for his son. Think about that. We should try to get back together for him. I wouldn't want him to call another woman mom if you remarry after a divorce, just like you wouldn't want that. Maybe you're right, but you should have thought about all this before you broke your promises to me, not after. It would hurt me to hear him call another man dad. But it's better for him to come from a broken home than to live in a house full of lies and betrayal. Even if we didn't get divorced, I would never join your group of friends. They may look good, but to me, they're terrible. You'd go on seeing whoever you wanted, but it would never be me again. I could never be close to you again, Traci, so accept that. You don't really mean that. You're just saying it to hurt me, and it does hurt. So well done, Brian. But what if I gave up that idea? What if I promised to never be part of that group again? What if I stopped being friends with them? I'm desperate for you, honey. You and Bobby are the best parts of my life. I'm sorry you think I've turned my back on us, but that's not true. I care about both of you more than anything else. I hear your words, Traci, but I just can't believe you. You've already shown that you can't be trusted. It's too late for that. Just sign the papers so we can finish this quickly. Never! I won't sign those papers. I don't want a divorce, and I'll fight you every step of the way, no matter how long it takes. I may have lost you for now, Brian, but I want you back. I'm not giving up on us. I believe in us more than you do. I'll do anything to win you back. It's a shame you didn't have faith in us enough to stay true to your vows. You know the saying, once a cheater, always a cheater. And that's how I'll always see you, I replied. She started crying again, realizing how hard it would be to change things. What now? She asked. I hope you don't expect me to leave. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here with Bobby. We both have nowhere else to go. You're right. With you out of my life, Bobby is my whole world. I don't want to be away from him any more than I have to, so I'm going to stay here while the divorce goes on. She jumped up and clapped her hands in excitement. Don't worry, I'll stay out of your way. I won't expect you to do my laundry, cook for me, or clean up after me. You take care of your needs. I'll take care of mine, and we'll both look after Bobby. All I ask is that you don't touch me. To me, you're a disease, hard to look at and impossible to be married to anymore. We'll just share the house until the divorce, but it will never get better. Her happiness slowly faded as she heard what I said. I understand you, Brian, but a divorce is a long way off. We both know a lot can happen in that time. I'm going to win you back, I promise. As long as you keep seeing those friends of yours, that won't happen. I won't be around them ever again. It's true I can't control your decisions, but if you ever bring one of your lovers here, I swear you will regret it. Do you understand? Of course, I already told you I'd stop seeing them if that's what it takes to win you back. Do you want me to quit my job and stay home with Bobby full time? No, it's too late for that now. Besides, if you did, it would only cost me more money in the divorce. She didn't like my comeback, but she kept a cheerful smile for my sake. I had decided that we would stop being confrontational. There was nothing she could say that would make me lose my temper again. We had both been hurt by too many insults. I could stay calm at work and at home. I chose to see our situation as a business deal. Nothing would come between me and my time with my son. For a few weeks, we only had short, polite chats, just what was needed. Surprisingly, we agreed to some suggestions from my lawyer, B. I would pay the rent if Traci took care of the utility bills. I canceled the utilities in our names and moved them into her name only. Both our cars were paid off, so we each paid for our own gas and insurance. We also bought our own food, so no need to share groceries. I managed to separate my finances from hers easier than I thought. Since I was still paying most of the bills, she agreed. I moved half of our savings to a new account just in my name and left the rest in her account. She was upset about this for a few days, but she soon realized I was just following the divorce agreement, which she still politely refused to sign. Once I made these changes, she decided to act as well. She started dressing in more revealing clothes around the house. She wore simple clothes to work, but after her evening shower, she would often wear very little. I ignored her behavior and kept my cool. As she grew more frustrated, she started taking off more clothes until she was walking around the house without anything on. She made sure to show off in front of me. Bobby didn't care if his mom was dressed or not. Traci tried to find reasons to talk to me. I was always polite and only turned her down when she got too personal. I didn't ask her anything or start conversations. My silence seemed to make her try harder. For example, when Bobby was asleep, she would leave her bedroom door open and make loud noises to get my attention. I found it funny every time she did this, imagining her with someone else. I never felt attracted to her in those moments. That's not to say I didn't have my own needs. I usually took care of those in the shower with the door locked. One day, I was searching for socks in my room when I realized I had not seen 3 important photos. I searched every drawer, but they were gone. I knew Traci had taken them. I examined the lock on my door and noticed tiny scratches. She wouldn't have been able to pick the lock herself, so she must have had a locksmith make a key for her. The next day, I bought 2 new locks and installed them on my bedroom and bathroom doors, keeping the new keys for myself. I didn't want her to know she could no longer get in whenever she wanted. Her betrayal confirmed that getting a divorce was the right choice for me. Now I wondered if she would claim her affair with Elliot never happened. After a few months of peace, Traci asked me out to dinner or a movie several times. I always politely said no. She was restless. She was used to going out with friends often and missed them, but remembered her promise not to see them. Then I started getting texts and calls from her friends inviting us out, or just me. After each one, I blocked the number to stop them from happening again. In mid-December, she invited me to her work's Christmas party. I kindly refused, saying I had promised to babysit a young boy, but I told her to enjoy herself. We had always gone to those parties together in the past. Now I wondered if she was sad, because the swingers club only accepted happy couples, and we definitely were not one of them. That following weekend was my company's party. I had planned to go alone, but she wouldn't let that happen. She took Bobby to a babysitter before the party. I left for the party without saying anything to her. She followed me there and found me quickly. As usual, she looked stunning. She tried to make small talk with me around others, but I didn't engage much. When I was alone with VP Dan, he asked if we got back together. I explained, and he just laughed, saying I was brave to live like this. I made it clear that I didn't want to lose any time with my son. He understood. When the party was over, I went straight to the babysitter's house and picked up Bobby. He slept all the way home. I thought Traci would be really upset after the party and might blame me, but she seemed happy just to be out with me. She appeared thankful for the little attention she got in public. Traci often took off all her clothes as soon as she came home and stayed undressed until bedtime. She would show off in front of me whenever I was watching TV or using my phone. I used my engineering skills to change our digital thermostat. I added a small piece to make the house cooler than normal, hoping she would wear warmer clothes. It kind of worked. She started wearing thin nude stockings and a very small nude garter belt. She also wore see-through panties and a bra, which seemed to keep her warm enough to stay nearly naked around me. After 2 weeks, I fixed the thermostat back to normal. At least I had tried. 5 months later, Traci told me she was going out for dinner with her best friend Cassidy. She asked if I could watch Bobby. I casually said it was fine as long as she didn't bring anyone else to our house. Since she went out on Saturday nights, I decided to join a bowling league at work. I had a great time, and Bobby loved the attention from the ladies there. It was better than sitting at home wondering what Traci was doing. One night when I came home after her, she asked where I had been with Bobby. I told her the truth. She wanted to go with me next time, but I told her I only went out when she did. That really frustrated her, but I didn't care about making her happy anymore. She would often ask how we could become a loving couple again if I didn't give her a chance. She still hadn't signed the divorce papers, and I knew it would take a full year. 6 months after serving the divorce papers, I got a call from my lawyer, B. She told me that Traci's lawyer asked for 10 marriage counseling sessions, 2 each week. I had to attend and couldn't just sit quietly. I had to answer all the questions from the counselor. I asked B if I could just say the same short sentence to every question. She said it didn't matter what I said, as long as I said something about our marriage. I thanked her and hung up. Traci's lawyer chose a counselor who sided with her and looked down on me. I wasn't worried about what the counselor thought. I just wanted to follow the rules. I answered every question from them both with, "I do not wish to remain married to a promiscuous woman." It didn't take long for them to get angry with me, but I stood my ground. I didn't raise my voice or use any bad language. After 5 sessions, the counselor decided to end the sessions because they weren't helpful. After the counseling, Traci tried hard to get my attention with her body and by dancing. I'll admit she is very beautiful, but I couldn't forget what she had done, which made everything she did seem unattractive. She often made loud noises from her bedroom, but I never showed any interest. Still, she kept trying. The months went by without any change. I spent all my free time with Bobby, and it felt like we had a strong bond. 4 days before our divorce hearing, Traci moved out and took Bobby with her. She also gave me a restraining order, telling me to stay away from them until the court date. Then B called me with 2 shocking pieces of news. "I tried to warn you, Brian. She is now claiming that you forced yourself on her and raped her 3 times. She didn't report it earlier because she hoped for us to get back together. She says the most recent time you demanded it, she was sick and couldn't go along. Then you hit her and raped her again. Her lawyer has hospital records showing bruises, tears, and other signs of abuse, along with a busted lip from when you hit her. She is countersuing for full custody and wants only limited visits with you enforced by Child Protective Services. I'm afraid she has a strong case. Is any of what she's saying true? B, you know me well. Not one word of that is true. Okay, I just needed to hear you say it. I will fight hard for you, but I don't have much hope of winning without strong proof to back up what you're saying. B, did she give you the information you said we need to go after her claims? Yes, I have it in a folder at my office. Can you send that information to me in an email? Of course, if you really want it. Now remember, you can't call her, email her, text her, or reach out to your son in any way until I say you can. Do you understand? Nothing. If she calls you and you hear her voice, hang up right away. Got it? She ordered. Understood, I replied. 2 days later, as I came home from work, I was surprised to find Traci sitting at the kitchen table. I didn't see her car, so she must have come with someone else. She had been waiting for me, but I didn't know why. At first, I wanted to run to avoid breaking the restraining order, but she shouted my name before I could escape. Brian, turn around and listen to me if you want to see Bobby again. She definitely had my attention. Trying not to talk to her, I just looked her way and kept my distance. Cat got your tongue? She asked with a sneer. I see the restraining order. Fine. You don't need to say anything. Just listen. I stayed calm and didn't move in a way that seemed threatening. Give me your phone first so I can turn it off. I put my phone on the table. She picked it up and switched it off to make sure nothing was recorded. She continued. I tried to get you to talk to me nicely, but you wouldn't budge, so I had to take more extreme actions. How does it feel to be on the other side now? Not nice, right? I'm sorry, Brian, but you left me no choice. I had to say things happened between us that you wanted to fix things. But Elliot helped me realize I needed a backup plan in case your lawyer convinced everyone otherwise. So I made up a story that you hit me in a fit of anger. We both know you never hurt me. I told you before that you would never hurt me, and I still believe that. But I had to make sure I would get full custody of our son, leaving you with hardly any time with him. I hate being cruel to you, Brian, but it gives me an edge to negotiate. Traci cleared her throat and went on. If you cancel the divorce and agree to make it disappear, and if you agree to join our friends, who want to take us all in, then I will cancel the restraining order and come back home with you. We can go back to being a happy family. Bobby won't have to come from a broken home. He'll grow up with both parents living together. Think about it, Brian. You'll have all the fun you can handle with a bunch of beautiful women. What's wrong with that? I promise you'll get used to it. I'd be happy to show you some new things if you wanted, but maybe that's too much for now. What do you say, Brian? Will you come down from your high horse and live in the real world with me? You'll have the time of your life, I promise. I looked her in the eye and let her think I was thinking it over. So if I agree to you and your friends, you promise not to limit my time with Bobby? Why would I want to keep him away from his loving father? You know he loves you more than me. He asks for you all the time, and it hurts me to keep him from you. Just say yes, Brian. Just say yes, and all our problems will vanish, she pushed. I lost you first, then I lost my son. My life is terrible. I miss Bobby so much. I just want to be with him, I admitted, feeling overwhelmed. One word from you will fix everything, Brian, and everything will be like before, she encouraged. I need some time to think about this. I have to figure out how I can share you with other men. Just give me some time, please. Okay, I understand. You always have to think things through. We see the judge in 2 days. I need to hear from you by tomorrow. Just text me one word, yes, so I know you're with me, and I'll make everything right again. But if I don't hear from you before the hearing, I will make your life awful. Your son will grow up hating you, and I'll make sure that happens, and you'll pay for it. Please don't force me to do that for Bobby's sake. Just do the right thing for him. She hit me where it hurt the most. My son. Nothing else matters to me like he does. I'll reply as soon as I can. Now please leave, I said firmly. She walked past me with a smile, knowing she had the upper hand. I held my breath until I heard the door close. I looked outside to see a shiny Lexus pull up beside her. Elliot Franklin was driving, of course. He must have really wanted her to go this far. I had a lot to think about. B told me that I didn't need to be at the divorce hearing. My presence wouldn't change anything, but I wanted to be there. As I left the men's restroom to go into the courtroom, Traci suddenly approached and spat. You had your chance, you fool. I'm going to destroy you in there. Your son will never know you, and he'll grow up calling another man Dad. I'll marry a real man who trusts me and is ready for a real marriage. Unlike you. She suddenly spat at me and quickly walked away, making people around us gasp. They seemed curious about what terrible thing I had done to such a beautiful woman. I took out my handkerchief and wiped my face. I hoped my lawyer was as good as people said as I entered the courtroom and took a seat at the back waiting for my turn. It was going to be a busy day in court. While I waited, I listened to some wild divorce stories from others. I saw that people who spoke for themselves often did not make good choices. My case would not start until 1 o'clock that afternoon, which felt like a long wait. Traci went up to testify first, since she was the one who filed the restraining order and claimed I had attacked her. The divorce was a small matter compared to everything else. I listened closely as she spoke about the things I was accused of, giving specific times and places for the claimed incidents. This was her chance to win custody, child support, alimony, and maybe even put me in jail. Interestingly, the district attorney had not yet pressed formal charges against me. I stayed silent while she tearfully described the terrible things she claimed I had done to her. She gave detailed accounts of events that she wasn't even asked about. My attorney quietly doodled flowers on the edges of her notes. Traci's attorney painted a strong picture of me as someone with a bad temper and unfit to care for a young child. He explained how Traci had tried to fix our marriage before my last alleged attack. She said I wrongly accused her of cheating and that my jealousy ruined our life together. Now she believed divorce was the best choice for her and our child. Once her attorney finished, B smiled as she got ready to question Traci. I want to make sure you are completely sure about the dates, times, and places you say Mr. Wilson is guilty of. Is there a chance you could be wrong, Mrs. Wilson? B asked carefully. No, ma'am. I remember everything perfectly. My attorney told me to write down everything that happened, and I kept a calendar for that purpose, Traci answered. I understand. So you are swearing that everything you say against my client is true? B pressed. Yes, ma'am. I wish it were not that way, but I must tell the truth, Traci said, wiping her tears. No more questions, Your Honor, B told the judge. Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. You may leave the stand. said Judge Cora Feldman. Traci and her lawyer looked surprised that my attorney hadn't challenged her more. The way she smiled at me as she left the witness stand said it all. She felt sure she would win. Even my lawyer didn't dispute anything she had said. She seemed ready to turn our son against me, and that thought made me wince. "Your Honor, I would like to call Mr. James McMahon to the stand," B said. The judge agreed, and a plain-looking man took a seat at the front. Traci and her lawyer whispered to each other, and she shrugged, not knowing him. "Please say your name for the record, sir," B asked. "James Winfred McMahon." "Thank you, Mr. McMahon. May I call you Jim?" "Yes, just call me Jim." "Thank you, Jim. Can you tell the court where you work and what you do?" "I own McMahon Investigation and Security Services." "Jim, how did you come to know my client, Mr. Wilson?" B asked. "About 14 months ago, he came to me with worries about his wife, Mrs. Traci Wilson. He thought she might be cheating but had no proof. He decided to hire us on the spot to look into it," Jim explained. "And what did you find out while watching Mrs. Wilson?" B asked. "We collected proof of her cheating and gave him 3 photos showing her with another man." "Were those the only copies of those photos?" B asked. "No, ma'am. We keep all photos and videos stored safely. We are careful about evidence and are properly licensed. Mr. Wilson only received copies," Jim replied. "Do you have those copies with you today?" B asked. "Yes, I do. I can confirm these are original copies," he said. "Thank you, Jim. Your Honor, I would like to submit these 3 photos into evidence." The judge took the photos, looked them over, and handed them to the bailiff. "Thank you, Your Honor." "Jim, was that all of your work with Mr. Wilson?" B continued. "No, ma'am. He was worried that the relationship with the other man might still be happening. He asked for my advice on how to find out. I suggested hiding cameras and microphones in his home to watch what was going on," Jim responded. "And did Mr. Wilson hire you to set that up?" B asked. "Yes, ma'am. We installed everything the next day while both Mr. and Mrs. Wilson were at work," Jim said. "Objection, Your Honor," Traci's lawyer interrupted. "I understand what's happening here. Before this goes any further, I ask that all evidence gathered from those terrible hidden cameras be thrown out. Mr. Wilson might have changed the recordings to make things look bad for my client. That's not right." Judge Cora Feldman listened carefully to the objection and turned to B. "Before I decide on your objection, Counselor, I want to know if it's valid. Counselor Thorenson?" "Thank you, Your Honor. Jim, can you tell the court what kind of camera system you set up in Mr. Wilson's house at his request?" "Sure. The cameras send a signal to a laptop hidden in the crawl space of the house. This laptop connects to a wired hub that sends all the information to our secure cloud servers. Mr. Wilson cannot see the raw recordings. The laptop does not keep any local files other than the web address where the videos are sent. The only way Mr. Wilson or anyone else can access those files is through my company. I recommended this setup to make sure the evidence is protected at all times. We provide Mr. Wilson with information that we think he needs and let him know about important details after we review the recordings. The only thing Mr. Wilson does is change the small batteries in the cameras every month." Judge Feldman smiled at Jim. "I've seen you in my courtroom before, Mr. McMahon. Your company has a great reputation. Objection overruled." "Thank you, Your Honor," B said, feeling happy. "Jim, you heard Traci Wilson's claims against my client." She handed him a paper. "These are the dates and times she says the attacks happened. Do you think her claims are true?" "No, ma'am. They are not." "How can you be so sure, Jim?" "When your office gave us those specific dates and times, my team looked at the videos from those days in Mr. Wilson's house. Every time the videos show a calm house, with Mr. Wilson playing with his son and Traci alone in another room. During the times of the supposed attacks, everything was quiet in the Wilson home. There was no sign of any violence on the videos." Traci and her lawyer seemed more interested in the floor than in the testimony. It was clear her case was falling apart. "Jim, do you have anything else to add about Traci's claims against Mr. Wilson?" "Yes, ma'am. I have a transcript of a phone call from Mrs. Wilson the day before she moved out. It's only her side, but in it, she says she hates doing this to her husband, whom she says she loves. She also admits that someone else hurt her so she could blame it on him. She said she would use it to make him give in to her." "Objection, Your Honor, that's hearsay," her lawyer interrupted. I can provide the original recordings if needed. This transcript shows exactly what she said on the phone, not to her husband, Jim replied firmly. Traci's lawyer sat down without saying anything more. B said, "Thank you, Jim, for your testimony. I have no more questions, Your Honor." And she took her seat. Judge Feldman looked at Traci's lawyer. "Would you like to ask this witness anything, counselor?" Defeated, he replied, "No questions, Your Honor." Judge Feldman said, "You may leave the stand, Mr. McMahon. Thank you." Once my private investigator sat down, the judge continued, "I see what's happening. An innocent man is being accused of crimes he clearly did not commit, probably to influence this court's decision about custody of the child. Mrs. Wilson has lied under oath. Lying under oath is a serious crime that can lead to jail time. I will send the record of this hearing to the district attorney for possible charges against you, Mrs. Wilson. I now grant full custody of Bobby Wilson to his father, Brian Wilson. Traci Wilson will have visitation rights that Mr. Wilson will decide on. Mr. Wilson, I advise you to be generous with those visits. Your child needs time with his mother." I nodded in agreement with the judge. She continued, "As for alimony, I'm leaning toward none because of how Mrs. Wilson treated her husband. Yet I do have some compassion. I will award Traci Wilson $1,000 per month for 3.5 years, or 42 months. Each of you will keep your cars. The checking and savings accounts will be split evenly based on the balances when the divorce was filed. Each party will keep their retirement accounts. Since Mr. Wilson has primary custody, no child support will be required. Mr. Wilson, you get to decide where you and your child will live. Do you want to stay at your current home or move?" I stood up. "Your Honor, I don't want to stay there longer than I have to. If Traci wants to keep renting the house, that's fine. Either way, I will be moving out." "Very well, Mr. Wilson. The decision about the house will be up to Mrs. Wilson." "Mrs. Wilson," Traci stood up looking nervous, "you have 8 hours to return the child to Mr. Wilson. If you don't do it, you'll break the law. Do you understand?" "Yes, Your Honor," Traci cried, tears in her eyes. "Good. I suggest you plan to do this before you leave today. All restraining orders are lifted, and I approve the divorce for Wilson versus Wilson. You will both get your divorce papers in 30 days. Traci cried sadly, knowing she had lost her family. She walked over to me to follow the judge's orders. "If it's okay, Brian, I'll bring Bobby to you after dinner tonight. I just want a few more hours with him." "No need for that, Traci. I just wanted to see what would happen here. I have already found a new apartment, and my friends will help me move once I leave. Here's the address of my new place. I'm only taking Bobby's things and my own. You can keep all the furniture. Bring Bobby to my new place at noon tomorrow. I should be settled in by then." She nodded sadly. "I'm really sorry. This is not how I thought things would turn out." "Well, since you found life with me so dull, maybe now you'll have the exciting life you wanted without me. Good luck with your new relationship," I replied sarcastically. She didn't respond to that. "Brian, thank you." "For what?" "For not going after Elliot and Gail Franklin. They are good people. It's a pity you won't get to know them like I do," she said kindly. "No problem. I don't care about either of them. They don't matter to me. But I do care about your job. I found out that your company has a rule against dating in the office to protect the women. Tomorrow, I will send a lawsuit to your company because they broke that rule and it hurt my family. Ronald Hensley will be the main focus. He has been with many women at your work against the rules. You might know him as your boss." Traci looked shocked, her mouth moving like a fish gasping for air. I continued, "Ronald has a wife, Lydia, and 2 kids. I don't know if she knows what he has been doing, but I will make sure she finds out everything, including about Rita, the woman he claims to love so much. You might know her as Gail." "But why would you do this? His family shouldn't be hurt," she pleaded. "Why? He ruined my marriage. Why shouldn't I ruin his? He almost took my son from me. Even now you protect him. It's shocking. If you stick around, you might still get the man you want, but he may be divorced soon, and maybe he'll be out of a job too. It seems your friends at the center are also in trouble for keeping quiet about his bad behavior." "Are you going to get us all fired? How will I take care of myself?" she asked. "Oh, no need to worry. Your job is safe. I promised your company I won't go public if they keep you employed. Just think, you can start a new group. I can only imagine how great your life will be now that I'm out of the way. Once you tell the others how your actions helped our marriage, they will want to join you. You might have trouble finding another boss. Maybe one of the husbands will take his place. Think of all the new chances, I said with excitement. But why help me and hurt the others? She questioned. For one reason, Traci. I believe Bobby needs his mother. It may not be the best job, but it's enough for you to live without asking me for help. When Bobby asks me how I treated you during the divorce, I want to honestly say I was fair. If you tell him otherwise, I have proof. What Traci and her friends didn't know was that I already knew her boyfriend's real name from the start. My private investigator does great work, and he's worth every penny. I always face problems with clear information. My lawyer sued Traci's workplace for $1.5 million and settled for $1 million. She kept $250,000, and I got the rest. On the day I received the check, I gave Traci a check for $42,000 as a lump sum. My support payments were taken care of by her company, and I had plenty left over to build my dream house. News travels fast at work. Many of the single women where I work are now looking at me. After finishing a wild ride in my marriage, I want to take some time for myself and think about Bobby. I need a break before I start dating again. I'm finally free. Hey, audience! If you liked this video and want to keep up with more thrilling stories, make sure to subscribe to Prince Cheating Tales and hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss out on our upcoming adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next wonderful story.